25 cars, 25 laps again the distance for tonight for the Chick-fil-A limited stock division here at the Langley Raceway.
I'm sorry, I thought you, I don't think you double up too. I'm getting old.
This was pure stock?
Yeah.
She was cute. Ring?
Huh?
Ring?
No ring.
And welcome fans to Langley Raceway in Hampton, Virginia for the 25-lap event for the Chick-fil-A Hoosier Racing Tires Limited Stock Division. Just a lap behind in our coverage, and already in one lap, the outside pole sitter Kevin Adams has taken the early lead in the number 6 car. So far this year in limited stock action, and we got one car before we can get into it up in a ball of fire off of turn number 4, and we need the yellow out, and it's coming, the 15 of Jerry Collier, and really haven't seen flames like that in quite some time. That fuel cell is on fire and something underneath of it. That is really big fire that came out of that car over in turn number 3 and 4, and the safety crews quickly over there to extinguish it out, get Jerry out of the car, and one lap in the record books, and the good news is that driver should be okay, but a really scary moment over in turn number 3 and 4. Spot Charlie Bryant currently in second, Bobby Spivey in third, Todd Carson in fourth, and J.D. Jackson in the number 5 spot. Back at Langley Raceway, the number 15 machine of Jerry Collier. Well, once the fire is put out, the driver's okay. They ripped him out of the car moments ago to make sure he was okay, and he was. Got the fire extinguished, and it looks like the problem is not that severe that he is able to continue on. 2 laps will go in the record books this time. Collier came out just in front of the leaders. Number 6 machine of Kevin Adams, your early pace setter. Kevin was the driver to watch out for at the very beginning of the season, but then Charlie Bryant Jr. really picked up a good head of steam in car number 88 and has been the driver to watch out for since. And one other driver that has really had some strong efforts but just hasn't been able to get in the number 1 spot is the number 11 machine of Todd Carson. And Todd, for the moment, who has owned that runner-up spot the past 3 or 4 weeks, currently owns the number 3 position. He just got it moments ago from Bobby Spivey, the driver of car number 12, who goes back to 4th. 5th on the field is a 95 at J.T. Jackson. Dwayne Sidnor in the 25 holding on to the number 6 spot. 7th goes to the 19 of Billy Casansas. The 8th position is the 33 of Larry Phelps. 9th on the Speedway is the number 14 machine of Kelly Carson. And rounding out the top 10 here on lap number 4 is the number 8 machine of Fred Broyles, with the 7 of Dave Nichols, the 42 of Brian Maxon, and several others right behind. 21 of Don McLaughlin and the 34 of Bob Christner will be a couple of those cars latched on in that series of packet traffic. 5 laps down here in tonight's limited stock feature. Adams in the number 6 machine is so far having a good run. He's a 3-time feature winner so far this year. Charlie Bryant Jr. has been the driver to watch out for with 6 wins. And the only other winner so far this year is the 33 of Larry Phelps, who is mired farther back in the field in 7th position, just getting around the 19 of Billy Casansas for that spot. Adams will work some back markers now here on lap number 7 as he begins to come upon some slower traffic in the field. One of those machines being the number 2 car, and that'll be powered by Ginger Freeman. One car in trouble over in turn 1 and 2, and somehow, some way was able to straighten it back out. That was a 42 of Brian Maxon. And one car also high in the groove in turn number 4 as they come back down. That's a 15 of Jerry Collier, miraculously, we should say. Collier in the Coastal Engines machine was able to get that car refired and going again after the ball of fire erupted in that machine earlier. And now he's climbing the banking over in turn number 1 and 2, and this may bring out a caution as he is a long way from pit road. Meanwhile, Kevin Adams working lap traffic rather skillfully off of turn number 4. 10 laps will go in the record books, and Jerry Collier, knowing he's not going to get down into the pits right now, is out of the harm's way as the number 15 is down on the inside groove. Midpoint down the back straightaway as the 03 machine of Mike Queen takes his time to go on pit road. 6 of Kevin Adams continues to be your leader. The 88 of Charlie Bryant Jr. holding on to second. He works some lap traffic off turn number 4 as he worked back to the stripe for lap number 11. Third on the grid, still the 11 of Todd Carson. Fourth going to the number 12 machine of Bobby Spivey. And fifth is the 95 of J.T. Jackson. Dwayne Sidnor remains in 6th position. Larry Phelps in 7th. It still is Billy Casansas in 8th. And a caution coming out for Phil Sanderson on the back straightaway in car number 18 here on lap number 11. We'll step aside and return with more in the Chick-fil-A Hoosier Racing Tires Limited Stock Division in just a few moments. Pontiac safety car as a 25-lap feature event is just about set to hit the halfway point. Top 2 drivers will have a big advantage, 3-lap cars between themselves and the third-place machine of Bobby Spivey, or I should say a couple lap cars in between them and Todd Carson, then a couple more back to the fourth-place machine of Bobby Spivey as we go back to green flag racing. Kevin Adams could have used a lap car between himself and Charlie Bryant as the 88 is glued to that rear deck lid on the restart. Carson quickly disposes of his lap car and now begins to chase down the front 2. Now Spivey, Larry Phelps, Dwayne Sidnor, J.T. Jackson, Billy Casansas, Dave Nichols and company all knifing their way through some back markers as the field works back to the stripe for lap number 12. And no breathing room whatsoever, just about a half a car length for Kevin Adams right now as he works over in turn number 3 and 4. And the number 8 machine of Fred Broyles will head off to the pits. Meanwhile, the number 2 machine of Ginger Freeman spinning off that second turn. And it looks like the caution again will have to wave as that car will sit still over in the second turn. And the yellow comes out here on lap number 13. Lap number 13, the Langley Raceway for the Hoosier Racing Tires Chick-fil-A Limited Stock Division. Once again, Kevin Adams will have to ward off the efforts of Charlie Bryant Jr. on the restart. Todd Carson and Bobby Spivey running 3rd and 4th. The lap car, then the number 5, the 5th place machine of Larry Phelps as we're just past the halfway point in tonight's event. Adams this time does his homework, gets up to the gearbox and is able to fend off Charlie Bryant and get away by, well, that's a big lead for him right now, considering what it was just on the last restart. Bryant was glued to that rear bumper, and now Bryant would not only have to worry about working on Kevin Adams, but have to fend off the efforts of the gentleman that has been chasing him for the past 2 or 3 weeks, and that's the number 11 machine of Todd Carson. Spivey in the number 12 holding on to 4th position. Larry Phelps clears the lap traffic. He's 5th. Challenge for 6th on the board. Billy Casansas on the inside of Dwayne Sidnor. The 8th position going to J.T. Jackson. Dave Nichols is 9th and Kelly Carson is 10th with Bob Christner right behind him at 11th. One car swinging it out wide. That'll be the Dwayne Sidnor machine. He'll give up a few spots here in the number 25. He'll fall back to the number 9 position on the Speedway as 15 laps on the board, 16. But Kevin Adams brings that trio of cars back down the front straightaway. Charlie Bryant and Todd Carson in hot pursuit. Caution again falling here on lap number 16 as we get 3 more laps in the record books. Kevin Adams will be our leader when we come back.
They started asking questions and they started, walking through here and walking through there and just unbelievable. Every department we got tonight just had to brief every time we turned around with somebody. It was just like, we weren't supposed to be here tonight. Okay, thank you. But that happens every now and then, I guess. Yeah.
Back at Langley Raceway, 17 go on the board this time by for leader Kevin Adams as the number 21 machine of Don McLaughlin brings his car down on pit road. Charlie Bryant, Todd Carson, Bobby Spivey, and Larry Phelps continue to be your top 5. Billy Casansas is currently holding on to that number 6 spot. J.T. Jackson in 7th, Dave Nichols in 8th. Dwayne Sidnor moments ago lost a few notches in the order when he drifted high off turn number 4. Car was developing a little bit of a push on that time, so he has fallen back into the number 9 spot. And again, the yellow flag will wave this time for 2 cars over in the turn 2 area. One of those being the number 03 machine of Mike Queen, as the other car just a little bit out of our view where we can not see the number. And 17 will be on the board, as again the caution will fly. The 18 of Phil Sanderson, the other car involved here on lap number 17. It's off the safety car as it once again heads off into the pit area. And the leaderboard again remains the same, with Kevin Adams again doing a good job of getting up through the gearbox. He needs everything he can get advantage-wise over Charlie Bryant Jr. And we'll work down the front straightaway. 77 car Mark Marmondo, making his first appearance, was down on pit road, is now ready to come back out onto the racetrack, trying to find a way to squeeze in here. Meanwhile, farther back in the pack, a three-wide battle moments ago between Dwayne Sidnor, J.T. Jackson, and Dave Nichols. Nichols being the meat in the sandwich and ended up losing 2 spots as a result of it. Ginger Freeman also on the pit road and now begins to work her way off. 18 laps in the record books, just 7 more circuits to go. As Charlie Bryant still trying to find his way into victory lane for the 7th time this year. Kevin Adams has been a long time since he has been in victory lane. He is back for lap number 19. The 25 of Dwayne Sidnor, the easy cleaning machine, evidently tagged the outside retaining wall down the back straightaway. That car is off the pace in a tough break. That campaign had a good run going. And now we'll be limping around as Phil Sanderson brings his number 18 back off pit road and into action. 20 in the record books here tonight. 5 circuits to go in the limited stock feature event. That's what 11 did, late models. And a 9 got together. I just happened to be looking at it and how they dodged each other, or 9 did. 25 of Dwayne Sidnor limping around over in turn number 3 and 4 as 21 laps go on the record books here in tonight's event. Kevin Adams working some lap traffic as they haven't been under green but about 3 laps, and they're already working some of the back markers in the field, so this could be advantageous to Charlie Bryant as he tries to gain and get around him for his 7th victory of the season. Meanwhile, Sidnor brings a 25 into the pits. 3-lap cars will be the ones to deal with, one of those being 26 of Jimmy Pierce, the 77 machine of Mark Marmondo, and the 03 of Mike Queen as Kevin Adams looks to find a way around him. He knows he's got to be error-free. Oh, in trouble on the front straightaway. One of those lap machines, the 03 of Mike Queen, tags the inside retaining wall very hard, and that'll bring the latest caution out here on lap number 22. Well, a scary moment as Mike Queen found the interstate battery. Tagging that inside retaining wall here on lap number 22, but what that will do is clear off the lap traffic and give Kevin Adams a free track on the final 3 circuits of tonight's feature event. Charlie Bryant Jr. in second still. Number 11 is Todd Carson holding on to third. Bobby Spivey in fourth. 25-lap event for the limited stocks. The latest caution being cleared up here on the front straightaway as the 03 machine of Mike Queen getting out of shape and tagging the inside retaining wall right in our interstate battery's victory lane. Kevin Adams going to get up to the gearbox one more time and see if he can get some type of an advantage over Charlie Bryant Jr. and storm away for the final 3 circuits. Once again, does a good job of getting up through the gearbox. Both of them do as they clear away from the 3rd place car of Todd Carson again. Lap machine of Mark Marmondo just in front of him, and he'll go for a ride off turn number 2 as Bobby Spivey and Larry Phelps and company were all behind him. Marmondo looks like if he can get it cranked up and going again, there shouldn't be a caution, but that car's still limping. Now it fires and works down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, the 2-to-go indication going out to Kevin Adams that time. Charlie Bryant glued to that rear bumper off turn number 2. So this race far from over as the white flag will be falling this time. Charlie will hang it all out, and he has got it sideways coming off turn number 4, looking for that advantage over Kevin Adams, who slams the door shut in turn number 1 and 2. 1 set of straightaways, 1 set of turns left for the number 6 machine. 3 times a feature winner in 1994, trying to end a long dry spell and get back into victory lane again for the 4th time. Bryant one final effort, and Kevin Adams for victory number 4. Charlie Bryant for second, Todd Carson in third, Bobby Spivey in fourth, and Larry Phelps will make up your top 5. Oh,